Dreaming of a Les Paul, but short on cash? Meet the Gibson, Sunburst style, triple gloss, and priced like instant noodles. And every order comes with this hard-nosed Customs Inspector doll. I'm watching you. Shred for less.
If they came out with a Brad Gillis guitar, Chipson,
you'd be all over that.
I'd buy that in a heartbeat because he's like one of my favorite guys. So
he's like your guitar equivalent of a foot fetish.
Brad, I want you on the show.
I'm Joe Normal, and you're watching Guitar Tales with Dave Cohen and Scott Guitar Masisenko. Have a rockin' day.
So much great stuff to talk about. But before I do that, shout out to Joe Normal. I love the bumper he made for us. But more importantly, he just put out some new music. I saw it on my social media feed. Check out Joe Normal. He's wonderful as a human being, great musician, great songwriter. And I just watched, he put out something really, really, really cool. So check him out. And secondly, not as important as our friend Joe, who is a friend of the show, what a fun episode we have for you today. We'll be talking about all sorts of stuff guitar. This is a nerd out episode, and I'm very excited. Right behind me, right here. Wait, there we go. That's there we go. We'll talk not about my guitar, which is not a Les Paul, by the way, but we'll be talking about Chisbons today. I want to thank, as we always do, and we'll talk more about them later, our dear, dear friends and sponsors over at Confections of a Rock Star. That is on Cookman Avenue in Asbury Park. If you're watching this soon after we tape, it's warm, it's beautiful outside. Asbury, one of the most legendary towns in New Jersey. And when you go get your stuff, check out Little Andy's Burgers, also a sponsor of the show. Cookman Avenue, Asbury Park. We'll talk a little more about them later. But today's show will be so much fun because basically it's what Scott's been doing a lot of and what he and I always talk about and what Scott brings on stage with him now and then. So, Scott, why don't you come in? We have the Chipson episode.
Love to hate them, right?
You do.
I thought everybody loved Chipsons. And
no.
After I did a little deep dive, I found that there's some Chipson haters out there, which really kind of shocked me. Even friend of the show, Dylan Talks Tone, was going on how he would never, ever buy a Chipson, and made some pretty valid points that actually made me feel a little guilty. But I just want to address some of those concerns. And I got 3 of the 4 Chipsons that I own behind me here. Very iconic guitars. You got the Frankenstrat there, SRV, Steve Ray Vaughan's #1, and that's Ace Frehley model guitar that's modeled after. We'll talk about what I like about them, what I did to them, if anything, and do I play them out? Were they just wall art? How did I get involved in buying a Chipson in the first place? What are my expectations before I got it? How did it go when I got them? Were they utter garbage? Did I had to work on them a lot? Did I had to pretend I was a guitar luthier? Or they were great right out of the styrofoam? So,
right out of the styrofoam. I love that.
Yeah,
it's true. It's how they come. Yeah. But, let me start with this. Right behind me in the green, for those of you who are listening, I have basically a Les Paul copy. Behind me is my Ivy. I have 2 Ivies. I have an Ivy fake Rickenbacker, and I have an Ivy fake Les Paul. And what I think is an interesting distinction, this is the Chipson episode, so sometimes we could define the Chipson issue by what it isn't. So what Ivy does is they will replicate a certain style or model of guitar, but then it says Ivy on it, IYV. I always thought it was IVY, but it's IYV.
Yeah.
And there are fewer implications in that regard in terms of what we'll be chatting about. Actually, my Rickenbacker I bought on our show when we were taping.
You put it live on the show. We were on our cheap guitars episode. We are fans of cheap guitars, and obviously Gibsons are cheap. Most of them sell for anywhere between as low as $89, although I've seen them as low as $79 or lower.
Yeah.
For just a basic Stratocaster model, all the way up to I think the most expensive Chipson I ever saw was $350.
Yeah. There, and then mine, the one behind me, was maybe at 190 or something like that.
Yeah.
I think I paid about 170 for my Rick. And I'll tell you what, actually paid to get a setup, and the luthier was very impressed with it.
Hmm.
So that, and
I did not know that. So you had it professionally set up?
yeah, and if I played it, it would be all the better. I'm so bad about that. But yeah, he was very impressed. I mean, not impressed compared to necessarily a Rick, but he knew what it was.
Right.
And this is my segue point to get you, because I want to talk about your experience with Chipson. So the green Les Paul behind me, I had that one set up too, and he was very impressed. Pickups are abysmal. It can't. The sound is horrible. So I'll put some new pickups in there. But here's the thing. No one will look at the guitar behind me. You can't see the top of it on the camera, but it's not even trying to say it's a Gibson, right? It's saying I'm an Ivy, and I am shamelessly copying the Gibson body style and all that. But tons of guitars have been doing that for years. Yeah. Chipson went in there, and they actually have the name of the actual model on it.
Yeah, they're flat out counterfeiting the actual guitar. Yeah. And for those of you who have wives or significant others that bought fake, purses, expensive purses, or fake Rolexes, or any of that stuff, China is just loaded with, there are no rules. They basically just copy whatever they want. How they're able to sell it in the United States is a bit of a mystery to me. They're on eBay. You could buy I bought most of my guitars off eBay through a Chinese vendor. And it's equal in every way, cosmetically anyway.
Yeah.
Similar to the real deal.
Well, here's the thing, and you and I chatted before we taped today. So as most folks know, who listen to the show anyway, who watch the show, by day you're a pharmacist, I'm an attorney. I am keeping my lawyer hat off. What I do,
well, I will speculate the law.
Okay.
You don't have to confirm or deny if it's true.
Well, but what I was going to say,
that things I learned from the Chipson haters.
Yeah, but here, this is important. Now, I got to throw this in because it's super important. I'm not an expert in this area of law, so anything I say, I sue nursing homes when they abuse people. That's what I do during the day.
So if an old man's playing a Chipson, something happens to him, then you're all in. Like you get speed over the head with a Chipson. Then that's your...
No, I don't do that. But my point, this is super important. If you're listening to the show, if you're watching the show, I'm just having a fun chat. I don't even have any expertise in this area.
I don't either. All I know is I love the way they look.
Yeah.
And I love the price. And I'll like to talk about how I got lured in the first place.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Because, it's a very risky thing to put your credit card out there.
Yeah.
Buy a product from overseas, sight unseen, sight unplayed.
Yeah.
Ear unplayed, sight unseen, right?
Yeah.
And put your hard-earned dough out there.
Right.
Even though it's a few $100, it's it's still a few $100. That's kind of why I went the eBay route, because there are more protections on eBay for buying things overseas.
Yeah.
Because I sell things on eBay all the time, and I've shipped guitars overseas to different customers.
Right.
So if they're gonna try to fool me or jip me or give me a fake credit card or whatever, I'm protected.
You're much more protected,
and I'm protected the other way around too, as a seller and as a buyer. So I got into my head after Eddie Van Halen passed away. I wanted to get sort of a tribute guitar to have in my little collection. And the expectation was this was just really going to be something I hang on the wall.
Yeah.
I look cool. I didn't expect it to play well. I didn't expect it to look good at all. And I was pleasantly shocked and surprised when I opened that box for the first time I ever bought a Chipson.
What you looking at? Oh, bro's got the goddamn...
I did change out the pickup in it. And we dedicated a whole show to what I did to the guitar to make it look more like the real thing.
Yeah, you relicked it beautifully.
Yeah, added some yellow tint to it to make it look older. It was very white and red, did not look used at all. I mean, it was pristine. But in every detail, they nailed it. I mean, it's unbelievable. The fake pickup in the top that doesn't really work. I added the tape and the few bang marks and relic the fretboard a little bit, put the cigarette burns at the top and all that stuff.
Right.
But it was a good, solid beginning point to work my magic on it. Now, am I going to play this guitar out? Probably not. I have a rule of thumb. If you bring an iconic guitar out based on the artist that this guitar is made from, you better be awesome, right? If you're
Right.
The Stevie Ray Vaughan Stratocaster, you better play like Stevie Ray Vaughan, or you'll be able to pull off some Van Halen licks effectively. The Ace Frehley model, as you know, I played at the Stone Pony, and I did one Kiss song with it.
Yep. And you did beautifully.
And I think I did Ace proud. I mean, I nailed the solo. Didn't smoke like it was supposed to, but we went over that in another show.
We did.
Every one of these guitars had some sort of cosmetic change to it and set up properly. But the frets were dressed nicely on all of them.
It's amazing. Now, let me ask you this. And this is why, I on my part, I opened the show comparing it to Ivy. If let's use the Ace Frehley guitar. The headstock says Gibson, I assume.
Yeah.
Right? All right.
It got Ace's face on it.
Right. If it had Ace's face and said Chipson instead of Gibson, would you still have bought it?
Probably not.
Interesting.
Because it's part of the visual, right?
That's interesting.
But the important distinction is I'm not trying to fool anybody that I paid $10,000 for a guitar.
Right.
And I'm also not selling any of my guitars
to
fool anybody that they're real. I told my kids, even when I croak and they inherit my entire guitar collection, make sure you don't sell these as genuine, because they're not.
And no one's going to believe, anyone who's ready to spend real money wouldn't think that anyway. Like, on close, or correct me if I'm wrong anyway. Like this guy behind me, no one would look at that, even if it's mine right there. If it said Gibson on the headstock, it's not as meaty. The wood in the body isn't as dense. Like, there's certain things that you can look at, but no one's going to look at that guitar and, more importantly, hold it.
Yeah,
and even think for a minute that it's a real Gibson. It's a gorgeous guitar. I mean, the spectacular. It plays really nicely. The action, you could breathe on the strings and it plays itself, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like shit for now. Swap out the pickups.
Well, a lot of Chipson fans will buy these, and Chenders, right?
Oh yeah,
buy these guitars and switch out the pickups and the hardware and everything. So a guitar aficionado or an anti-Chipson guy was like, well, why the hell would you spend $200 on a guitar? You got to put another $200 or $300 into it. You might as well just buy a regular
$400 guitar.
Maybe for Fender version, maybe. But even the Ultra Strat I have, I changed out the pick guard and made it a Frankenstein poster.
Right.
Put a kill switch in it. And, I spent a few bucks to change it up a little bit. But you're still talking hundreds of dollars. If you buy a real Ultra Stratocaster, you're looking at $1,100 maybe.
Yeah,
something like that. And a brand new Gibson, forget it. They're in the thousands.
Well, this is all right. This is a good segue for me. I have a couple of thoughts on it. I feel like these guitars have pulled the Wizard of Oz curtain aside.
Mm-hmm.
And expose something about Fender and Gibson.
Yeah.
Not the other cool companies like Bootlegger, that's wonderful, and they're a friend of the show. But the super expensive brands or makes, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
I think on some level it's exposed them that their product is not $800 better than. I'll give you a different example. I'll come back to Bootlegger. I have two Bootleggers. I love both of my Bootleggers.
As do I.
But so you get like a really nice $600 guitar from a Bootlegger or a company like that. Like, your Bootlegger's gorgeous and plays great. You've played it out. played it at Martell's, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And and then some people just for the name might grab themselves a Fender or a Gibson. They're not better. I mean, they're great. And I wonder if Chibson and the Ivy companies of the world, they're exposing the fact that Fenders are great. I happen to like Fender more than Gibson. I've always been more of a Fender person, but
It's me too.
A higher end new Fender, I suspect their price is disproportionate to the quality of the product, and maybe they're getting exposed a little bit.
Maybe, yeah. It is a little embarrassing. Now, you're head of Fender sales or whatever. How are you going to deal with this issue of counterfeit guitars flooding the market that you're not really supposed to resell?
I don't think I would bother, because I don't think, this is my gut, I don't know anything, right? I don't know. I literally don't. I do the show with you, and I'm a lawyer. But what I would guess is the Chibsons are not affecting the Fender market for the person who's going to drop $1,800 for a nice mid-level Fender. I don't think the customer is going anywhere near Chibson. And with Gibson, even more so. I don't think anyone who's ready to spend $3,400 for a high-level Les Paul is going to say, you know what, I'm going to spend $180 instead and buy an Ivy or a Chibson or something like that.
I mean, they are pretty irresistible when you see them online, and now they're very cleverly hiding the headstock.
Right.
So all you see is the body, and a lot of guys are saying when they get them in the mail, there's either nothing on the headstock, or there's a piece of tape over the Gibson logo or Fender logo. I mean, that SRV, not only does it say "Made in USA" on the back,
oh my God,
and it has a serial number and says Fender.
Wow.
I mean, they've actually carved Stevie Ray Vaughan's name on the back of it like he did, and put the proper stickers and color and backwards tremolo and the little piece of wood that goes in the back. And on my YouTube channel, I did a close-up inspection of all these guitars and talked a little.
See,
and everybody just goes, they just said for face value, goes, beautiful guitar, has to play. Great. Plays great.
Yeah. See, you know what? Again, non-legal analysis, right? So
don't be so nervous, bro.
Yeah, I'm careful. But so I don't know why I'm coming up with this analogy, but Thriller, right? Michael Jackson had that sort of famous jacket, right?
Yeah.
And if you go to like a TJ Maxx type store and they have a replica of his jacket that someone wants to wear,
yeah,
I look at these in a different category. I think for someone who has the money to spend $200 for something fun, $300 or $400 if you fix it up, I think that's just a different market than the folks who are really interested in a Gibson or a Fender or Rickenbacker, like my other Ivy. And the answer would be, you'd have somewhere online we could probably find out what the CEOs of that company have to say, and I'm sure officially they're going to say that this is, and it is wrong. It's wrong of Chibson to do it. I mean, it's ethically wrong. It's more. I don't think it is wrong of you to buy one ethically.
Yeah.
You're a consumer. You're just dropping a couple of bucks to have fun.
Right.
So that's different. And
some will call it a replica. They call it counterfeit, and
yeah.
China's been flooding the market with counterfeit goods for years, and and the reason they're doing it is because people are buying it.
Right.
Does that make us crooks? That the buyers crooks, all crooks?
Well,
or we just want to have something cool or something interesting in our collection, that we normally wouldn't otherwise be able to afford.
Now, who I would imagine might be upset about this would be the companies that are not the top tier in terms of price, like Washburn, companies like that, where there's, where you go online, there's a few guitar shops left. There aren't that many anymore, but in Guitar Center, if you're looking at the rack that has like the $300 to $400 guitars, I'm sure they're making a serious dent into those because, like I could, go to a guitar shop and spend $250, $300 and buy a very high quality guitar that doesn't have Fender or Gibson on the headstock because it's another company.
Right.
I would have, but what did I do on the show with you? I just did this to my phone. I tapped my phone on Amazon, and I got the guitar that's right behind me, and I did this, or I got my fake Rickenbacker that's not called Rickenbacker. So I would think it's the mid-tier companies that have the affordable guitars that might feel threatened, because what the guitar behind me offers that they don't is it's just sort of a fun way to get a cheap version of a Gibson for me.
Right.
It was a low commitment. I didn't have to get off my fat ass, which is kind of, it's kind of bony. It's not even fat. But anyway, enough about my ass. But, it was an easy, lazy way for me to get what turned out to be a really lovely guitar. And when I swap out the pickups, it'll actually sound good. And I think if I would imagine that's where the concern is. And maybe, Fender does have their cheap intro models that are not that expensive. So maybe they'd be upset over that. But certainly not the real high-end Fender stuff or Gibson stuff. Gibson, to my knowledge, does not have cheap entry-level stuff like Fender does.
Well, they got their Epiphone line, but even they're kind of expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and they're beautiful.
And there are tons and tons and tons and tons of videos online where guys that really know what they're doing and luthiers that really take these guitars apart from China and compare them directly.
Yeah.
Directly with sound and feel and play and electronics and the whole shebang. Like the guy from Scar Guitar, love that guy. Big shout out to him.
Yeah.
And then all the guys on the Chisbons group that I belong to. There's every day somebody's like, I just got this today. It's fantastic. I have 5 phones. I'm selling them all. They all suck compared to this guitar.
Well, it's exposing something else in our economy, for that matter. I just got an EV and a non-gasoline car, and there's a company in China, BYD, and there's many others, and they are producing electric cars, EVs, half the price in the United States. They don't sell them here.
Yeah.
But if that market ever popped open, they would absolutely annihilate Detroit, and Japan for that matter. So, the Gibson line, and I think in the same conversation, Ivy and others, maybe they're exposing the fact that their means of production is more efficient than ours. Now, maybe it's more efficient because there's abuse of workers and things like that, which is a horrible thing.
There's also, and again, I don't know, have any proof of this, but just from what I've been reading, that if you just think of it logically, China is not going to build a guitar factory just to make Gibsons. They're going to make necks and guitars for other companies around the world.
Right. Yeah.
So some of those guitars may leave the factory with a Gibson logo on the headstock, and some of those guitars may end up in the Epiphone factory for finishing in the United States, right, or they're completely manufactured overseas in Indonesia or China or wherever, and then they, Gibson puts their big fat sticker price on there. And somebody's silly enough to spend, $5,000 on a guitar that was probably made partially anyway, or designed even overseas.
Well, yeah, it's like this company here, Court. For those of you who are just listening, it's a gorgeous guitar that is not a replica of anything that I have, my Court. It's just Court. But what I learned about Court is that they have their own guitars like that one you're looking at there. Mm-hmm. And then I think they're Korean, and they make tons of guitars for other companies. So not all Court guitars are called Court, but a lot of guitars that we play are Court.
All right. So my point is, it's not just like 5 guys in a sweatshop somewhere banging out. I think it's a massive guitar factory. They're probably using computers, because the quality control, at least the ones I bought, and they're using Chinese parts and pickups and stuff. I gotta say, the pickups aren't terrible.
Yeah,
they're really not. That SRV sounds like a Fender. I've played it. I've done videos with it, playing blues songs and whatnot. Funny is I originally put the heavy Stevie Ray Vaughan strings on there,
Right.
and it was unplayable.
Really?
It was absolutely unplayable. I could not bend any strings.
Wow.
A tone wasn't any different than I normally would expect. So I've got my Slinky 9.5s on there, like I use. I love that Slinky makes 9.5 gauge.
That I never heard of that.
Yeah, 10s are a little too hard, and 9s are too slinky, and they make a 9.5. It's like the Goldilocks thing.
Oh, that's great.
It's just perfect. It's just perfect. And I've been using 9.5s for a while now. But again, I wouldn't gig with that SRV guitar. You bring that out, and it's such an iconic
that's true
thing that people are going to expect some sort of Steve Ray Vaughan master, which I'm not. Listen, I dabble in the blues. I got some Steve Ray Vaughan licks, but I wouldn't go out there with that guitar like that. Again, the expectation is I got a good deal on a piece of wall art that looks really cool in my living room or my studio.
Right.
And if I want to spend a few extra bucks on changing out the pickups, and I can get crazy and do that, but I'm not gonna. That defeats the whole purpose of me paying, $200 for.
Yeah. I think to me on the consumer end of it, I think it's just nice. It's like a fun little thing to do. And I know from my experience, it comes and you're taking the styrofoam off it. Like you're so dead on, and that cracks me up. And it's just like a fun little thing. They're just like extra guitars. I'm sure very few people are buying these to be their main guitar.
I've been trying to get you to get a Pete Townsend Gibson for a long time now with a 5 on it, and all the pickups and all the switches and stuff.
I would be tempted
just to have to hang on the wall is cool.
I know. Yeah, you play it once.
When people come over and see these guitars hanging on the wall, they go, "Can I see that?"
Yeah,
oh my God, look at the detail. Look at that. It's a visual thing. And then they verbally asked me, "How does it sound?" I said, "Plays great, sounds great." And here's a video of me playing it.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, you know what it's like? It's like if I got a print of a famous piece of art.
Yeah,
looks good on my wall. No one thinks I have an original Picasso or something.
I'm not trying to fool anybody or sell to somebody.
Yeah,
I'm worried about the market being so flooded that 10 years down the road, if these still hold up, and that's another thing that, do these guitars hold up? I don't know.
I think they would.
Banana in 10 years from now, or it would be a piece of crap. But even if the neck is a banana in 10 years, that's not the original reason I bought it. The original reason I bought it was hangable, playable wall art.
Yeah, that's all. And I think it's fun, and who knows, maybe it'll put a little gentle, maybe healthy pressure on some American companies if they can. I don't know if we can. I mean, that again, like I think the car analogy works. That like Honda and Nissan and some of the other, they have plants in the United States, so they're sort of a mix between Asia and the United States, but these Chinese companies, there's a handful of them, and all I had to do was look at one BYD reel, and suddenly they're all over my feed now. And, you could buy them in Mexico or Canada, but you can't buy them here. I get that, but I'm saying $40,000 for a car that maybe was worth 90 here, stuff like that, like amazing guitars that are faster, more efficient, more battery life, more luxurious, more tech than we have here, and for half the price, 2/3 of the price, 40.
How are they doing it? I don't know.
Yeah, I think the answer in part is the labor is cheaper. Maybe the government's helping them a bit. Maybe the allegation is that the safety standards aren't being met, and that's how they save money.
Right.
Now with guitar, it's not consequential. If your guitar doesn't work, no one gets hurt, no one's sick.
Right.
You're down.
Dylan made the point that Dylan Talks Tone, our friend Dylan Talks Tone, made the point that I hadn't really thought about. But he's right. Every time you buy a counterfeit item, you're taking money away from people that have jobs in the United States that make Louis Vuitton bags or make Fender or Gibson guitars and stuff. And the first thing I thought of was that old bit from Abbott and Costello where he goes, "You don't like mustard in a hot dog? Because you don't eat mustard, you're putting people out of work." And you know,
I never saw that bit.
What is the first thing you buy in a baseball field? A hot dog? A hot dog. Without mustard? Mustard goes with a hot dog. Not with mine. Mustard was made for the hot dog. Now, but look, I don't like mustard. Mustard and the hot dog go together. Let them go together. I don't want to spoil any romance. Do you know they spend millions of dollars every year to put up factories just to manufacture mustard? Do you know those factories employ thousands and thousands of men just to manufacture mustard? Do you know those men take care of thousands of families and homes, all on account of mustard? And you, just because you don't like mustard, what do you want them to do? Close those factories down and put all those people out of work? You mean to sit there and tell me just because I don't eat mustard, I'm going to close down the mustard factory? No, wait a minute. No. Are you trying to tell me that those thousands of people are making one little jar of mustard like this just for me? No, wait a minute. You don't understand. Well, if they are, you can tell them not to make any more because I'm not going to eat it. All right, so you don't like it.
you know, so he's partially right, but like you said, I am not a Gibson customer.
Yeah.
I will never be a Gibson customer. I will never pay thousands and thousands of dollars for a guitar ever.
Right.
Ever. I'm not your guy.
And you know what? They're sure as hell. I'd be shocked if Chibson or Chender put out a Squire, right?
Right.
Because that would be the competition. You could buy an entry level Squire for probably $150, $200 or something like that.
And
maybe
some of them are very, very good.
Right. So I don't think
but they still say Squire in the headstock, and people are like, it's a Squire. You know?
Exactly.
When people come to see it play a gig, when I played that Ace Frehley guitar, nobody was fooled that was a real Ace Frehley guitar.
Right.
They all said it looked cool and it sounded good, and that was the end of that. Guitar players in the audience that came to me after the show, they were really, that guitar was very, very cool that you brought that and play. And it was like, what a tribute to Ace. They didn't say, you're an asshole for buying a fake.
No one said or thought that. Right, exactly.
You know, I'm paying tribute to one of my guitar heroes. All three of these guys are my guitar heroes, right?
Yeah. I thought I was your guitar
hero. My little way of having a little keepsake.
I thought I was your guitar hero.
Only if you play the Rickenbacker. And your fake Rick is not a counterfeit because it doesn't say Rickenbacker on there. But it looks every bit as close to a real Rick.
It does. It does.
And it plays pretty nice and it sounds pretty fun.
Yeah, you've played
and
it.
How great does it look on the wall? And people go, wow, is that...
I know. And that's it. It's just fun. That's all it is. It's just fun. So, I don't know the answer, but I would imagine that they affect the guitar market, but I don't think they're hurting the companies that they are counterfeiting or replicating. Yeah. I mean, maybe I could see them hurting the entry level Fenders, I guess. I don't know.
The market is really flooding, and they are cracking down. I mean, some of these guitars are being the allegation is the headstocks are being broken in customs.
Really?
They open it up, they see a Gibson on there, and they snap the headstock and send it to
Who's going to do that from customs?
I don't know. That's the allegation. A lot of Chibson guys get their guitar in the mail, and the headstock is broken.
I would imagine that's just space.
Just like a real Gibson.
Yeah.
The headstock always breaks. Like I know so many Gibson. The Fenders are tougher. Yeah. You can row a boat with a Fender, and it's fine. But if you drop a Gibson on the ground, you go, uh-oh. You got a crack in the neck or the headstock. It's very fragile up there.
It's funny. I bought a used Tisco years ago on eBay. I don't have it anymore. And the ad on eBay said you could hammer down a fence post with this guitar. It said something like you could hammer down a fence post in frozen ground with this guitar.
Right.
And they were right because it was like a 1969 or something. Like $100. It was a cheap guitar, but I
have a lot of quality non-counterfeit instruments from the likes of Fender and the likes of Ibanez, and so forth. But some of my favorite guitars are cheap LTDs. You've seen my LTD Stratocaster that I have,
yep.
Which is a cheap subsidiary of ESP.
Right.
And now the LTDs are going for big money. When I bought them, they were only a couple $100. I love my LTD Les Paul. It's a relic gold top.
Yep.
It sounds great. It looks great. It plays great. And man, I mean, there's so many that I have. I got a Fogil.
What's that?
That company. I got a Fogil SG copy. Says Fogil on the headstock. Don't worry, you anti-Gibson people.
Right.
And a Fogil bass. And I sell those all day long on eBay. The
Right,
Fogil
right.
bass. Because I have video of me playing the actual bass, because I actually own one.
There
So
you
I'm putting
go.
my money where my mouth is.
That's
and
right.
I tell people on eBay, you will not be disappointed with this
You know,
guitar.
I wonder if guitars on some level are going the way of televisions. I remember 20 years ago, and a lifetime ago for me, maybe 25, spent maybe $2,500 for a rear projection TV, right? And now
I bought a plasma years ago, which was really, I still have it. It's a behemoth. It's sitting in the room that I'm in right now.
Yeah.
Very expensive. And the last flat screen TV I bought for the living room, which is almost twice the size and half the price.
Yeah. And that's so maybe guitars, as maybe just automation in terms of production. And, and obviously that's not talking about the real handcrafted boutique guitars, but for just a good quality guitar with good sound that's accessible, maybe it's going the way of TVs or computers for that matter, which are getting much cheaper.
I mean, there's a huge market for collectible guitars, which is a whole nother thing. But when you go to a guitar show and you see a struggling little, guitar company and they're pricing their shit at $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, I go, there's no way. How are you going to get this company off the ground? How can you possibly talk me into a no-name brand, a brand new company, and you want to spend $5-6 grand on it? Yeah. I'm in at 300, 400, even 500 if it's, something amazing. Our friends Vaccaro with their Vaccaro guitar, totally unique, totally different than anything else out there. That's something I would consider spending more money on than normal. And our friends at Bootlegger, they make a hell of a guitar for $600 and less. With interesting designs and unique designs and quality wood and electronics and everything. But you're not going to make a boutique Strat that looks like a Strat, plays like a Strat, sounds like a Strat, and it's $8,000. It's not happening. No. It is not happening. And I'm going to lose my marriage too.
Right. Yeah. And I think, those, you'll have people who will commission a luthier to make that kind of guitar.
Oh, sure.
But sort of a spec guitar like that, I think it's a different thing. And I think that's what we're learning. Like, what's the website I'm on, or the Facebook group? It's like Cheap Guitars or something like that. And it's a fun group, and I'm in the Ivy group. I don't think I'm in the Chipson group, but it's people who have other things going on in their lives and they want the opportunity to spend a couple of bucks and have a fun little guitar, the same price as an expensive dinner.
Hey, let's take a time, since we're talking about food real quick. Let's give our sponsors a big plug here with our little videos.
I would love that. Let's do it right now. Let's start with Confections of a Rock Star. We talked about them before. We'll talk about them again. Absolutely fantastic treats. And it's a great place to walk around, too. Look at all the rock and roll memorabilia.
Oh, I can't wait to go to Asbury when the weather's nice, when those macaroons are outstanding.
They are. I always like to say, what do we do, Scott? We bring it home for...
Pupcakes.
Pupcakes, that's right.
The boys love the pupcake.
Yep. And then we'll get dinner after dessert at Scott.
It's right there in the same building. The Little Andy's, they've been doing some satellite stuff, but going around, not like a food truck thing, but they've been setting up in different venues and concert venues and stuff.
They're delicious.
And offering their products.
It's great stuff.
Check out our sponsors.
And we're grateful for their support. So
we are.
As
well as friends of the show.
Yeah, all friends.
Chuck Wilson of Bootlegger Guitar, bootleggerguitar.com.
Yeah.
The Vaccaro guys are revamping their model line, and they're going to be up and running again soon.
Yeah.
And I want to give a little shout out to Sinister Guitar Picks. Now they've fallen on sort of hard times during COVID, and they're quickly getting their stuff together and going to relaunch. But the guys at Sinister sent me. I was running out of guitar picks.
Right.
And as you know, I had my own model that they were making for me, and I'm like, I got to get more of these. How do I get more of these? Can you make me a couple? So they were really super nice enough to scrounge around to see that they could find at least the same pick shape that my guitar is based on. My guitar pick's based on, and Mr. Fort Miller sent me a nice little care package the other day. So thank you so much for that. They'll go to good use.
It will.
The summertime gigs.
I truly love that.
I would love to have them back on once they're up and running again.
Oh,
they
we'll
have a
do that.
really, really great product. They make metal picks, and they sell all kinds of, tchotchkes and jewelry and stuff.
No, it's very good stuff.
It was super nice to me to send that out.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for him to get back up and running, because a lot of Sinister guitar pick fans out there, including our best friend Gianni Compton, who turned me on to Sinister guitar picks years ago. And they quickly picked me up as an endorser, and I just wanted to be loyal to him.
Yeah.
I said, I don't want to jump ship here, but I really got to get some more of these picks.
Yeah.
And
they came through for you.
Send me anything.
Yeah.
I don't want to play a different guitar. I'm so used to his.
And that's such an important piece of our guitar playing, right?
Oh my God. Yeah. Right. That's the connection between your hand and the guitar is that pick.
Yeah. Strings and picks are pretty damn important.
And they made me sort of a jazz pick, but it's they call it the Jazz X. It's a bigger than a jazz pick, but it has a regular pick feel, but it's shaped like a jazz pick.
I think that's fabulous.
And the note playing is just so articulate with it. I love it. And they come in different colors, and they put my logo on there, and I've just been a friend and a fan of them for so long. I just couldn't contemplate getting my picks from anybody else. So hopefully Sinister will be up and running again, and I'll be the first to announce it on this show. Promise you that.
I dig that, my friend. And we're going to line up a show with Bootlegger. Chuck has some good stuff going on. We're going to.
Oh my God, what is going on at Bootlegger Guitar in Hermosa Beach, California is unbelievable. I mean, I'm ready to jump on a plane and see what's what. He put up a video the other day, and it's not AI. I think it's legit. He had an old big console television, the big ones that have record players in them.
Yep.
Black and white, playing some kind of video. I guess he had all the guitars behind it in this little boutique.
His the Bootlegger
really cool.
Lounge.
The Bootlegger Lounge. Yep.
Danielle and I are supposed to go out to LA to visit Todd in May. Yeah, we're going out probably in May. And part of our journey will definitely be shooting out to Hermosa Beach.
Oh man, I'm so jealous. Definitely go in there. And anybody who lives in the LA, California, Hermosa Beach area, stop in and see Chuck Wilson at Bootlegger Guitar. You will not leave empty-handed, I can tell you, once you see what he's got going on in there.
Yeah.
But you could buy the guitars online.
Yep, and I've got a tube amp head of his. It's fabulous. I've got two of his guitars. You have one of his guitars.
Yeah.
So I think we've had a wonderful nerding out.
Yeah.
Completely nerding out.
So tell us in the comments, are we breaking the law? I mean, breaking the law. Or it's just for the love of guitar that we got sucked in and we bought. Now, that being said, am I going to buy any more Chisbons? Probably not, unless I see something that's a tribute. If they came out with a Brad Gillis guitar, Chisbon,
you'd be all over that.
I'd buy that in a heartbeat because he's like one of my favorite guys. So
he's like your guitar equivalent of a foot fetish.
Brad, I want you on the show. Stop avoiding us.
We will get him.
We've had
him.
Basically all Brad's friends on our show except for Brad himself.
We'll make it happen.
Brad was my first big guitar hero. I learned a lot of whammy bar tricks from that man.
We will get him on.
Yeah, well, one of these days.
We will.
Listen, what else we got to do besides beg people to come on the show, right?
Nothing.
We had a nibble from a auction house that's doing a big auction, guitar auction,
Oh,
rock
that's right.
type auction where they're selling one of Ace's guitars and one of Stevie Ray Vaughan's acoustic guitars and
We'll bring him on.
some clothing and different things. That'll be fun. That happens in May, so hopefully we'll have him on the show before May. And one last thing we saw this week was Rush.
Yes.
In a impromptu surprise.
Oh, the Juno Awards
concert appearance at the Juno Awards with their new drummer Annika, and they played some really, really deep Rush cut. Now I'm a nut for Rush, and I never heard this song before. I didn't know what
I never heard it either.
I didn't know it was new, old, and then Geddy was even singing his old style.
He sounded good,
and his voice is like rested.
Well, it's rested. So I have tickets for August at Madison Square Garden.
Right? Yeah. It's happening.
It is happening. So this morning, after I saw that, just for shits and giggles, I watched their induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for the sole purpose of making myself tear up.
Oh, wow.
That's the only reason I watch it, because it's so wonderful when they get a standing ovation.
That is
before
good.
Their name even comes out. I watch it just to get that feel-good feeling, you know.
And listen to this. Talk about weird karma and who knows what. The night before they did that little gig, whatever. Even, I don't know what it is. I guess it was just one song.
I think it was just one song.
I watched a tour video of Rush on YouTube from the 80s that I actually attended.
Oh, wow.
And to see the Professor on the drums and playing all those great hits from the early 80s from the Moving Pictures record was like fantastic. I think they're in good hands with Annika. I think it's
my God, yeah. You know what? Every Rush fan had complete faith in them.
Yeah.
You know, like you look at every comment on every post, everyone was basically saying, "We're behind you. We know the Professor appreciate this.
Mm-hmm.
He would want it." Like it's that
but there were still some people shitting on her, like, "Oh, one bass drum, what the hell? That drum set's too small." And I'm like, "Come on, what are we doing?"
No, she's being her. She's being her.
Yeah,
which is great.
That's her kit.
Yeah.
Why would you want to surround yourself with a bunch of drums that you don't normally play?
I mean, who is she, Chipson?
She got it. Tama's excited because she plays Tama drums. So Tama's back on stage behind Rush, and they're thrilled.
But she's her.
Yeah,
and everyone will embrace that. I think
it'll be fine. Don't worry.
Yeah, don't worry.
If Geddy's voice is that strong and their musicality is that strong, I mean, I can't wait to hear what this sounds like.
I know it's going to be great. It's going to be absolutely great.
Yeah, it's going to be remarkable.
Yeah.
Okay, my friend, go get out your credit card and go buy yourself a Pete Townsend tribute, Chipson, and I'll see you next week.
All righty, my friend. Have a great night, everyone. Who are we going to do our outro with? Are we doing that this time?
Let's do our friend Rex from Rex and the Rhythm.
I love it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
What's going on, guys? This is Rex in the Rhythm, and I am on Guitar Tales with the bad man, Dave Cohen, and Scott, guitar assist, Engel. Tune in. Listen to Without You. It's awesome.